Hmm. Fuck the watch this guy. Okay. Let's see. Does it hear me? Oh, it does hear me. Okay. Let's see. Does it hear my music?
They say every day's a new day. Live it like your last day. It's okay to feel great. Yeah, you're all jumping on a new wave. Time goes by, but I stay stuck up in my old ways. So hard to unlearn habits we got addicted to, addicted to. I'm trying to change my life, but so much easier to say than do.
Try my thing. I guess so. There you go. Okay. Public now. Congratulations. I'm actually drawing! Yay! At a stupid time of night with no warning! I need to, like... I really need to. What's it called? Get a schedule or something if I want to do this more often. Okay, so she's done. This thing's done. Yeah, that one view is me. That's funny. Oh, no, that's not anything. There we go. Do we get to draw the sad spinning cats? Yay! You know, I could have been done this if I just decided to do an easier way of shading. But I said I want to be special, and I made mistakes. So now here we are. Shading like a madman. Guess I'll set things up. No one will be awake because, again, I didn't set a schedule for this. I was just like, hey, I'm bored. Let's do a stream. Why not, right? I should really make more scheduled outlines for this kind of thing. Someone looked at this, was like, oh man, I tapped that by mistake. I don't want to see this idiot drawing. This silly individual. I might swear a bit. I don't know, if I'm not paying attention I might swear, so if you don't like swears, I'm so sorry. But that's just how I am. Nothing by it. I don't know how long I'm gonna set this up for. Just a bit. Just a little bit. Just because I feel like it. Again, schedule. I don't know, I'm very bad at committing to schedules. Might be something wrong with me. I don't know. Never looked into it. Maybe one day, but who knows? Maybe I'll just accept how it is. Anyway, cats. This part's been on the works for a while. It's not because it's taking a while to make, like that's part of it, and I made the smart decision of, you know, using frame by frames, because that's what you do as an animator. You go for the hardest path possible to creating things. You look at something that says, hey, you know, you can do some tuning, that way make things a little bit easier on you. But then you look at the frame by frame and you go, oh, frame by frame, that's so cool. And frame by frame says, no, that's not cool. And I'm like, no, wait. Why does it take so long? But that's because it's frame by frame. I keep doing that. I'm getting distracted. But yeah. Essentially, frame by frame is very, very pretty. But also it requires so much work and so many frames. Like many, many frames. But I can make the cat spin. So it's lots of work and spinning cats, or just moving heads and stuff like that. And don't make me wrong, there's some beautiful tweening and people like use After Effects. I do not use After Effects. That thing creates massive files and I don't like it, and it makes my computer go very loud. But you know, instead I'm just like, I have this $20 editing app that I use. I think it was $20, I don't remember. It was just, I use that. It works for tweening. It is not like a, what's it called? It's a big investment, I guess. But it works. It's what I need. I think it could create some pretty cool stuff. Got some multiplayer layers. This part's done. Like, I'm very, very close to finishing this part. Like, ridiculously. Like, so close. And it's taken so long because I get distracted. World stuff happens, real life stuff happens, things that don't include animating. And also motivation. Motivation is a bigger thing than you realize when you get into stuff like this. Because sometimes you sit there and you're like, wow, I wish I could do art. And then you kind of continue to sit there, you know, and then suddenly it's 9 o'clock and you don't know what happened. Something happened, who knows. But you don't know what, just time. Good times. But yeah, I could have just done this kind of shading, you know, just a nice little, nice Gaussian blur. But no. I said I wanted to add some shell shading, and I want to make it blending, add some lighting, and then I also looked at the fact that it was frame by frame, so I have to do this at minimum 20 times. And there's 2 scenes that have like a minimum of 20 frames. So, good times, you know? I'm smart. That one was missing one of those layers. I didn't put one in there. I see there's an individual. I don't do a lot of streams because, again, I'm very terrible at making a schedule and being like, hey, schedule. Let's stick to it. Because I consider this a lot to be a hobby more than anything. Like, this is not a career that I have. This is why I had like 5 uploads this past year. And it's just because this isn't my career. It's just something I do on the side, something I do for fun. I animate cats for fun. And consequential ways of adding shading that makes it difficult because it's just copying layers. Just copy and paste layers. But look at that, it looks nice. Now we get to add the extra layers. The ones that make me done. Multiple layers. I want to do a different color for these just because of the other color I did for that was blue because it was like a blue environment. Color theory! I learned that at some point, I think, maybe. I don't know, I don't remember out of school. Did you know I haven't done math in like 6 years? Crazy, right? Turns out you don't do a lot of it in the field I went into. Not too much at least. And also we have calculators on our phones all the time, so I just use that instead. Being smart. I could be smart though. I could be wise. I'm smart in other things. I do know how to use measurements and stuff. Creation is fun. I do a lot of stuff like embroidery. Just a little bit of embroidery. I just got into that. Like the sew a little. Cosplay mainly being the main source of that. Pretty sure you can still hear. I can't hear the music, by the way. That's the funny thing. I don't know how I set this thing up, but I cannot hear the music, so I hope you guys can hear it. And the one person I can hear it, who's just kind of sitting here, seeing what I'm up to, the crimes I'm about to commit. I don't actually commit crimes. I'm too anxious to commit crimes. Very funny stuff. I'm just I make dumb jokes. My career as a comedian. Not really, I don't do comedy. That'd be a bad career for me, I'll be honest. Because I kind of gauge my comedy on dumb things like my own life or things that happen in the moment. I watched the Game Awards with some friends when that was going on, and there was like the whole, they reveal the trailer before they reveal the name like 90% of the time, because you know they gotta get people hyped, try to figure things out. One of the trailers for that Transformers game, didn't expect it to be a Transformers game, I'll be honest. That came out of nowhere. It was very much a funny kind of, oh wow, what is this alien invasion kind of game? And then it was Transformers. And you were just like, what? This is it doesn't make sense. But there was a trailer for that Bayonetta game that I never played any of the series. And we were making fun of it because it was clearly Bayonetta. And it seemed like when she was a kid or something, they were like trying to come up with silly names for it, and I said the Bayonetta Origins, and then split second later, guess what the title shows up as? I mean, it's a thing that movie companies like to go for, honestly. They're just like, what's a good name for this game that's a prequel about this character that's now grown up in other games? And they're like, Origins. And you're like, yeah, Origins. It's the best name ever. You know? We know exactly what these origins are. I do not know what these origins are. I don't. But I guess, yeah. Origins, it makes things pretty clear. That does make sense. Like, you know, that should be everyone's biography title. Let's be honest. It's your name and then Origins. Because then you can talk about your childhood, but in a really cool way. Because it's boring when it's just like, oh, it's just my life as my name and my legacy. But what about if it was my origins? Makes it sound like you have a tragic backstory, and you can come up with the most mundane kind of backstory ever, but it still has a cool title. And that will be the New York Times Review. Pretty boring stuff, but at least it has a cool title. Am I right? It's a cool title. Got the origins in there. It is a cool word. But She's like, I don't know. I don't know how voice reveals thing. I don't count this as a voice reveal because A, I turned this on at like 9 o'clock at night with no warning. Again, I don't do schedules very well. And so people are kind of just like, oh, did they have this planned? No, I did not have this stream planned. I just sat down, finished some of my things, was like, hey, I should work on my map parts. And then I looked at my computer and I was just like, I haven't done a stream in a while. Let's do that. And then this is now streaming. Because that's just how it is now. That's how I do it. I might have to do like a poll or something like, hey, want me to keep throwing surprise streams? Or you want an actual schedule? Are people even interested in a schedule? Or are they just like, who's drawing and who has music? Are they talking? I don't want to watch this when they're talking. Their voice is annoying. Just like those React videos. But it's live and weird. So weird. I don't know, if I stop talking, maybe some people would just like actually be like, oh, but I like the speech. Which is kind of weird. Why do you like to hear me talk, huh? Maybe you don't. I don't know. I don't see any chat stuff. Maybe just chill with just listening to me ramble about how cool of a word origins is for autobiographies or whatever. It's my life story. Origins. I also have no idea how much my terrible mic is picking up. Because I don't use an actual mic, I just use whatever's on my laptop. Because, again, I'm not like a streamer or anything, I just do this on the verge of when I ever feel like it. When did I feel like it? Now. It's just not blending. And now I have to think of other things. How do people talk about things for 3 hours straight? I guess it helps if you have like a friend with you, but like people who do it by themselves, I guess half the time it's just, you know, whatever they're playing they can comment on because there's always something new. It's kind of hard to comment on this because it's just me working on a single like part at the moment of Yellowfang being all sad. She couldn't save Halftail. Oh no, I think I always liked Yellowfang as a character. I think she's one of my favorite characters, and this may be like cliche, but my favorite character is Firestar in most of the original series, or at least up until The Last Hope. I haven't, I'll be honest, I haven't read anything past The Last Hope. Mainly because when Firestar, or I guess it's kind of spoilers for The Last Hope if no one's gotten there yet, out of the few people here, but he does die. And I didn't want to continue the series because he died. I was just like, this is my favorite guy, and now what Brambleclaw's gonna be leader? He's gonna be so mean. We saw how he treated Squirrelflight and how much of a mess he can be. I just didn't think I'd like the series without Firestar there, which made me kind of sad. So I did like him a lot. So he died pretty young when you think about, compared to like, well, we can't compare like any averages to Misty Star because she is like immortal. she lived for a very, very long time, way beyond cat years should. She was old lady, very old crotchety lady, great lady, loved her, but She was very old, and the fact that she lived so long is still going to be one of life's greatest mysteries. I think there's a new one. I mean, she has to be dead by now, right? Or do they just keep forgetting about her? She's just like kind of hanging out. They're like, oh, I don't know. She's still here, I guess. What's her origins again? She's Blue Star's. Who's Blue Star again? She was from like the trilogy, right? No? From the original. Oh no. Oh, I see. I see what happened. Oh. Well, I guess, it's okay, we focus on ThunderClan anyways. ThunderClan and I think ShadowClan's a pretty big player in it now too. But yeah, it's all about ThunderClan. No one cares about RiverClan. So no one will notice that she's not supposed to still be the leader. We can fix that later in production, right? I don't know. I don't know that much. Like I said, I like the original with Best Boy Firestar, who he does his best. He's very friendly. One Whisker was a great character, though he kind of turned out to be a bit of a jerk when they moved to the lake and became One Star. The whole, I think there might have been some miscommunications at some point with that kind of thing, where, it was the whole, oh yeah, I'm changing the leader now because you value friendship, and then he's just like, friendship makes us weak, and we're like, we should have just kept Mudclaw if that was the case. They just didn't like Mudclaw. They were just trying to find a way to kill off Mudclaw. There's no love in this house for Mudclaw. It was kind of regret. I don't know much about him. I like Deadfoot, though there's not much about him. He's kind of not much, but Deadfoot. He has a cute little origin story of having like a paw that doesn't work very well. It was called Hopkit. And it was just like, oh, Hopkit, he's tiny and he hops. And then when he became a leader, he became Deadfoot. And they were like, and then Mom was like really upset about it. She's just like, how could you name my son like the Deadpaw? And then Deadpaw at the time was just like, Mom, it's okay. I like it. I'm a cool warrior. I want to scare people with my name. And then he kind of like became leader because Tallstar, or not, he didn't become leader, he became deputy. God, it's been a while. But he became deputy and all that, and because Tallstar trained him as his first apprentice, actually. Deadfoot was Tallstar's first apprentice, I believe, because Tallstar was just like, I see a lot of potential in this kid. And the leader, what was her name? Forget her name at the time. She was just like, oh yeah, I guess. If you want to be the, his teacher? Mentor? That's what it is, mentor. Forgetting names over here. I'm not. I don't forget these things. I know exactly what I'm talking about with the warrior cats and the fire pelts. Man, I don't know, people, I'll recommend Pinocchio on Netflix to a lot of people because it's such a good movie, and also I very much love Guillermo del Toro's work. He's a very good director. A lot of the time when I see his name on a movie, I'm gonna watch it because I like what he does. Sometimes there are a few that aren't that good, but a lot of them are pretty good. I guess the one that comes to mind was the Troll Hunters, but I did hear they revoked a lot of creative control from him for that one, so I'm just like, well, it's not his fault that the studio said no more Troll Hunters for you. That was a good series though. The first, second, and a little bit of the third series. Like, I like the first one the best, of course. I did like the second one to a degree. It was pretty good. There were some fun things going on, new characters, new dynamics, and we got to see Jim every so often. I like that. Just his little cameos. And the third one was the Wizards one. I think a lot of people liked it because of the main character. He was like the typical kind of My Chemical Romance kind of guy. You know the one. But people like that kind of character, and he was a fun character. And then the movie just died. I don't talk about the movie. It's a Phantom Planet kind of movie. If you don't know what Phantom Planet is, it's from the series Danny Phantom. Phantom Planet is the finale that nobody in the fandom accepts as the ending, because it was complete garbage. Like, just an absolute dumpster fire. It was... Every character was essentially out of character. Main character, which everyone agrees died in a portal and then came back halfway. No, he is not a monster creature guy. He's not a kid who got super cool ghost powers. He straight up died. He's half ghost now. All angst potential. Everyone loves it. But essentially, he was upset because people or these like government guys were coming in and doing his job for him but better, and everyone liked them better and treated him better than him, and he was like all sad about it, which is understandable. You know, you do everything for the town that you love, and then they treat you like garbage, and then like these strangers come in and do everything that you've been doing but better. It just makes you really sad. This doesn't help. But he wanted to get rid of his powers. And the logical conclusion to getting rid of his ghost powers he got when turning on a portal and getting ectoplasm or whatever fused to his DNA and essentially half killing him was to go back into that machine and do the exact same thing as he did before. Like, and I guess, like, the writers of course made it work, but when you think about the logic of it, of someone just turning on a dimension tearing like machine that punches a hole between realities and dimensions on top of you, that's not gonna reverse anything, buddy. That's just gonna finish the job. Which is that's not how it works. But it worked. All the characters in that finale were off character. They were just not, they're terrible characters, or they just weren't what they were like in the shows kind of thing. The finale was rushed. A lot of stories that they were building up to, like character development, was just abandoned and forgotten. And at the end of the day, it was just a very terrible attempt at the end of the show. So, as we all agree, it doesn't exist. Phantom Planet never happened. It never will happen. It never did happen. That's just the show. Just somehow just ended at the very last episode of Destabilized, and you know, stuff happened, and there was never a finale. That is the agreement. That's all the agreement we need. But, and I'm sure there's other shows too that have like similar stuff like that, where people are just like, no. That's not the ending. I refuse to accept that was how they decided to end it. I think that's Supernatural. I don't know. The only things I know about Supernatural is all the news I get on Tumblr, in which one of the funniest is the format of the angel confessing his love to the one demon hunter, and the demon hunter just having the most like unregistered look in his eye. And it's how you get important news. Like, that's what that website is like, for anyone who's not on Tumblr. And I live there. I have Instagram and the DeviantArt. Instagram I barely post to. I post to like once or twice a year. I'm very terrible. I'm trying to do better with it, because it is like supposed to be more of a social, or like a networking kind of social media than it is anything. But I don't. DeviantArt, I think I've kind of abandoned DeviantArt. It's just stuff keeps happening there. I don't really care much for. I think I have other links usually in the description sometimes. But honestly, the one I'm most on is Tumblr. And it's because Tumblr is just like it's kind of a relaxing, like I can't even call it social media. The most you interact with people are with, like, you cater to your own needs on that website kind of thing. Like, you can follow tags you like. If you don't like something that someone's posting, you can just block them. Sometimes you can have, there's certain features that you can just turn off, like you can get posts that are based on your likes, but you can turn that off if you don't like it kind of thing. And half the time it's just very curated, and no one really, it's not very a networking kind of place. Like, you don't go there to go famous, because it is Tumblr. You don't get famous on Tumblr for good things. Usually it's pretty dumb things. Sometimes it's funny things. And surprisingly, that's where all the Danny Phantom fandom is. And I don't know how much people know about it, but it's a very wholesome fandom, like, most of the time, because everyone kind of agrees that we hate the creator. Because he's not a great guy. I'm gonna be completely honest here, is that Butch Hartman is not a good guy. Kinda sucks. There's been some, if you look up like his scams or whatever that he tried to do over the years, and there's like funny things about his like work on Danny. He barely worked on Danny Phantom kind of thing, to the point where like the writers would try to keep him off of working on Danny Phantom by making really, really good storyboards. And then if he tried to mess with them, he couldn't compete with their art, so he didn't even try to mess with them, so they couldn't ruin their jokes that they have set up. And you can always tell what kind of weird stuff's going on, but it's, yeah, we kind of just accepted that, no, we don't like him. He's not accepted here. Yeah. It's this, there's like has been no new content, like official, I guess, content of Danny Phantom, because whenever Butch tries to throw something in to like fit in with whatever he sees going on Tumblr, he's wildly off-base. Like, one of the funniest things with this fandom is that there are characters that everyone like talks about in this fandom, but they're seen maybe once or twice on screen and they have no voice lines whatsoever. Like Wes Weston, that's his name that we all collectively agreed on. This guy shows up like I think once or twice, and everyone has just agreed this is a character. His name is Wes Weston. His name was taken from a ring kind of gag where Danny was getting a ring for his friend Sam, but his dad got a hold of it and he like looked at it and it was upside down, so it said Wes. Or it looked like it said Wes, and he was like, who's Wes? And so people took that name, they gave it to some basketball playing redheaded guy in the background of one of the scenes of like the episode where he's running away from the ghosts, and gave him an entire kind of role and personality where he knows Danny's secret, but no one believes him. Like, he'll be like, Danny is Danny Phantom, why can't any of you understand this? It's so ridiculously obvious. He transforms in front of everybody all the time. Why does no one understand this? And they're like, this nerd is Danny Phantom. You're just crazy. And no one ever believes him. He can come up with like the most evidential kind of stuff to show the class, and they'll never believe him. And that's just the entire gag. And this is not a real character on the show. This is straight up just stuff people made up because they thought it'd be funny. And he has fan art. There's inclusions of him everywhere. It's just like to the point where if you were to join the Danny Phantom fandom and walked in, there's going to be so many characters in there that you think are canon. You'd be like, well, what? They never showed up in the show. And they're like, oh yeah, we made them up. We took background characters and now they're characters. Even like this past year, there was a new character which we made as the brother of Kyle. His name is Kyle, and he's the brother of Wes Weston, and he doesn't believe in ghosts, but he knows that Danny is Danny Phantom, but he just thinks that he's doing cool effects. He doesn't think that he's a ghost, so it doesn't help Wes whatsoever. And It's just kind of funny when it's like that. that's just that's the entire fandom. That's all it is. Um, Funny thing about it though, as well, when it comes to like fan works and stuff, fiction wise, a lot of it is based on. In the show, there's this thing where Danny's parents, though they don't know that he's Phantom and all that, and they constantly talk about catching Phantom and dissecting him molecule by molecule. And we have in the fanfic kind of area the fact that there's dissection because there's always like the angst of his parents catching him and not believing he's their son or whatever. And so there's so much of that because in the show they just straight up threaten to dissect his ghost tap. And it's always, it's like the most common kind of trope you would see being used in these kind of things. Recently, there's been a really high uptake of crossovers between DC superheroes and Danny Phantom because A, he's kind of a superhero with ghost powers and all that, and B, he looks a lot like a Bruce Wayne adoptee. He has the black hair and blue eyes, and that's all you need. And so people have a lot of the kind of crossovers where ranging from Batman having a adoption problem and chasing down Danny in an attempt to make sure he has a good loving home away from parents that want to dissect his one side. And then there's others where there's like shipping and stuff like that between certain characters. Danny Phantom has a really weird shipping name process. I'm gonna tell you, like, it's really kind of odd when you think about it. Because it's not straight up, it's not like a mash of two people's names. It's stuff like Grey Ghost, where it's between Phantom and another character named Valerie, where she's a ghost hunter as well, who hates Phantom's guts, and they call it Grey Ghost. And there's a bunch of others I don't remember. I just remember Grey Ghost, but it's always something where it never uses the names. You have to base it off of context of like character personalities, what they're usually associated with it in the show and in the fandom, and then it kind of goes from there. There's been some recent development with the crossovers where the people like to ship Danny with Tim from Batman, the Robin, and they call it Brain Dead because both of them, like, they have the whole, they love coffee, they eat or they drink espresso shots of death kind of thing. They're working on just no sleep whatsoever for days, and so it's called Brain Dead. There's one between Jazz and Jason, which is actually kind of funny, and it's called Anger Management because Jazz is leaning to become a psychiatrist and Jason has the pit rage, so they call it Anger Management. There's so much like that, and it's very unique because of it, and it's not dead. That's one of the funniest parts about this, is that this show hasn't had any new content since it ended like 2006-ish, 2004, so for years. And there have been recent events, like straight up this past October, there's a zine got released just a couple days or a week or so ago for free kind of thing, and it has Reality Trip, and it's like 200 pages worth of content kind of thing. Like, this fandom is still very much alive, and in a way it's a fun reflection of the fandom itself, because the whole Danny's half dead, this fandom is half dead. You know, there's no new content, but here we are thriving in October called Ektober and everything. I kind of want to do more content. I made a meme like 2 years ago, or I guess it's like an outline of a meme with the ghost meme music that Sir Fluff did. Love Sir Fluff. But yeah, I have that, and I haven't touched it for a while, and I do want to finish it, and arcs. It'd be fun to finish it because it's a ghost meme. I see almost nothing with Danny Phantom. There's this awesome animation. I wish I remembered the YouTuber's name that they did with Vlad and the prom dress, crying in my prom dress kind of meme. And it's a really good, very good animation, very enjoyable. I think I have it in some of my videos somewhere. I might have to promote it sometime, just to my dedicated Danny Phantom fan followers. Maybe I'll convert you into Danny Phantom fans. Just curious about this ghost or whatever. I did do that map part earlier this year, actually, I believe, with the Danny Phantom Warrior cats. That was really fun to work with because of the whole, how do you work in ghosts with cats? I mean, I guess recently it's been a lot easier considering like all the possession that's been happening. I heard in the series, like what's happening with these cats? There's been a lot of possessing happening, apparently. Oh, but it's how it be. Just cats possessing cats. Maybe we'll move on from Danny Phantom. Can you tell that I like Danny Phantom? The ghost boy? Probably like a first. I don't know if I call it a crush. As a kid, I did like Jake Long, the American Dragon. 99% because it was a dragon. It was a dragon show. You don't get a lot of dragon shows. And it was a funny show kind of thing, and I liked the look of it. I liked the characters and the animations. I liked the story. I liked the insane teacher he had that always tried to reveal his secret to the world, and he always managed to like one up him until like one day he turns out to owe like a favor because he was almost revealed, but it was revealed by a different guy, and the guy who wanted to reveal him was just like, I want to be the one who reveals like this big thing to the world, and I'm not about to like let this guy who stole like all my stuff to do this get away with it. So I'm gonna let you go, but understand that one day I will get you. But then he never did because the series ended. I gotta rewatch it because I do enjoy it a lot. I watched some Kim Possible. Jake Long was more favorite because it was a dragon, but Kim Possible was really fun because Draxum, I think his name was. Blue guy. One of the best jokes, I guess, was the very end of the series where they asked, meaning to ask, why are you blue? Because, it's never explained why he's blue. And, I don't think it's Draxum. That's in Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. Another obsession I've been having is the Rise of the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. I liked it 2012 when it came out. It got weird. I think I stopped watching. I mean, it's Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. It's always going to get weird. Like I've seen some things with the comics that they have, and it's like, oh, they're in space now, and you're like, what? Like, yep, they're in space. There's dinosaurs in space, and you're kind of questioning. There's what in space? Yep, they're riding dinosaurs in space. Okay, I'm gonna accept this. And I remember I think it was 2000. No, it wasn't 2012. That was 2012. When the Rise one, when it came out, I remember a lot of people being angry about the fact that they didn't look all identical, and they're like, oh, what an ugly art style, and this is gonna be so dumb and terrible, and Splinter is a fat rat, and they don't like that, but it's a really good show, honestly. The animation is top tier. Like, I'm a bit of an animation enthusiast, I guess. I love animation. I love learning about animation. I love researching animation. I love looking at the history of animation. And I see things like Rise of the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, and they pull off some really amazing kind of animation stuff for a kids' TV show kind of thing. Like, where half the time studios are just like, just use Toon Boom, tweening is fine, is easy, But no, they said, Toon Boom, get that out of here. We're going to do some crazy shots with amazing action sequences. We have this turtle running up a ladder as it's falling in funny poses, but also it's very fun fight scene with ladders and fish. You know, it's it's just fun. And I know a lot of people weren't happy with Splinter at the time either, because he was not like the strict sensei that was teaching them how to be the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles that people were very used to and kind of liked a lot more. But he's very much more like a father in this series, and it's really cute because these are his kids. Like, they straight up call him dad and everything, and those are his sons, and he just like is how you expect like a parent to act around his sons kind of thing. And it's good series. I like it a lot. Let's see. But I recommend watching it. I don't know if they're going to get revived for a season 3, because they have 2 seasons and a movie. And the movie was received extremely well. Like, that movie is such a good movie. It made me cry within 3 minutes. Like, you know how Up makes you cry within the first like 10 minutes of the show because they go through the life and it makes you all sad and everything? This movie like speed ran it up kind of sequence. Straight up 5 minutes in the shows and I'm already like, what's happening? And you're sad and you're like, what's going on? And you're like, a confused sad noise is happening as you're watching this movie after watching the show. And you're like, this is such a different kind of like start to it all. And it's a very good movie. It deserved to be received well. It has some very heavy themes and moments for all the characters, because most of the first season of The Rise was like more of an introduction to the characters or this kind of world. April O'Neil in this is my absolute favorite, like, April that I've seen. Like, she will absolutely kick your ass, if essentially she will beat you up. And she has every right to. She is April O'Neil and she can and will destroy you. She's great. I remember for the 2012, I didn't like the April in 2012, and trying to think back on why I didn't like her, because sometimes I don't like certain female characters in shows, and half of it is how they're portrayed. Like in the anime Fairy Tail, I hated Lucy like a lot, and half of it was just because she was always portrayed as someone who couldn't take care of herself. She's always crying for help. She was constantly, like, in the show, she's almost every episode she seems to be crying about how she's not strong enough, and I'm just like, girl, get stronger. And I was always just annoyed with that kind of character trope. April in 2012, I have to like rewatch some of the series to like see if I still feel the same way, because like, I watched it when I was 12, like when it came out kind of thing. So it's been a while. But I think it had to do with her getting powers. I don't think I liked Karai that much in that series either, or her relationship with Leo. But again, like, I just have to rewatch it. I like Donnie. Donnie's always been my favorite. I'm gonna say that right now. Purple's my favorite color. Donnie's always been a nerd. I've always liked nerd characters. Just, I like the whole book smarts over brawn half the time, or like most of the time. Though in the recent Rise, I love every single character in that series. Just each of them has such a fun personality. Especially Raph. Raph's pretty great. But yeah, watch Rise of the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. It's a good show. Don't let the people complaining about the animation style or whatever scare you off, because it has really good storytelling. It has great graphics. It's so much fun to watch. Like, all fight scenes, I find it pretty funny. Like, they have some pretty great jokes. Ben Schwartz is a funny voice actor. he's actually one of his interviews. I remember someone talking about Penn Schwartz and how he said that he wanted to voice all the Blue characters from his childhood. And so far, he's been making his goals. Like, he voiced Sonic in the Sonic movie. He voiced Leonardo in the Rise of the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. He voiced, I think it was Dewey in DuckTales. So those are 3 Blue characters he's already voiced. I'm trying to think of other Blue characters he might voice eventually, but I think those are the main ones when you think of Blue characters. But I don't know, maybe there's a Transformer or something that I'm not too much aware of. But man, he's living his best life, you know? He's creating, he has his goals, he knows what he wants, and he is achieving them. And I say good for him, because that's what you want to do, is just you want to achieve your goals. And he fits like a Blue character voice. Like if you were to envision a character and what color they'd be, it'd be blue. But Ben Schwartz is blue. I don't know what color people would envision me as. I like purple. I think I've said that before. Are you sure like purple's my favorite color? Like just looking at the screen, looking at my characters, like I don't know if you can tell. I don't think I made it clear enough. I should find a way to theme things, do some coding. Wonder if some of my friends found this. It's like, oh, it looks like she's streaming at 9:30 at night. Why she decide to stream? Why does she not alert anybody? It's because I didn't have a schedule. This was spontaneous. I was just like, I'm going to finish this cat part. Whether I like it or not, I'm going to make sure that these cats are animated and ready to go for the morning. I hope maybe I can finish this tonight. I'm not too sure. I have confidence in my skills as an artist. Am I an artist? I like to consider myself more of an illustrator personally. Because when I think of artist, I think more like, what's it called? Artists kind of try to look at the world in a different way. They try to create something that reflects on the world, but from different views and everything, and they think deep in regards to what they're trying to create. I don't think that deep about some of my creations. Sometimes I'm just straight up like, I just wanted to draw a mermaid. I like mermaids, I think they're super cool, and I wanted to draw one. And now here we are. And that is straight up my process. Like, it's I took a little bit of like art in my school when I was in university, and straight up sometimes they always ask you for some like deep, meaningful like reason behind some of these things. And sometimes my things are straight up me just being like, I wanted to draw a mermaid. And I had to come up with like, oh, this mermaid represents death and the legend of Odysseus and the Greeks and sirens. And at the end of the day, I was just like, I just wanted to draw mermaids. It's not that deep, bro. But some people can, and some people like to think that deep on their kind of creations, and I don't blame them. Like, some people think that way. Me, I like to create things that people can like read visually in a way, because I'm a very visual individual. I like to think of what I do, like when I think of things, I like to envision them in my mind, kind of like some people envision words, some people envision like pictures. I'm more of a picture kind of envisioner. I've even joked about rotating images in my mind when I think about animation, like this whole rotating cat thing, like this here. I had to think about this in my head, kind of like, okay, how would this cat look when he's tilted slightly to the left, or when you spin him slightly to the left in a way, and I had to like rotate Firestar in my mind, or I guess he's Fireheart in this scene, but I had to rotate him in my mind as I'm thinking about this and creating this moment kind of thing. And as like an illustrator, I want to like create stuff that people can look at and like visually learn from, kind of. It's same with character design and stuff like that. Like when you create a character, you want to think about what do you want the audience to know about this character just by looking at them from that first moment. Like when you look at a character, you want to think about, well, do they have scars? What does this say about their life? Does this mean that they're dangerous? Or does this mean that they're clumsy? So you got to think about what kind of scars you're going to give this character. Because, if they live like a dangerous life, then their scars might be more animalistic, like because they're fighting lions or something, so they have more claw scars, or claw-shaped scars. But are they more clumsy? Like, do they have certain scars that are from falling down the stairs because they just don't know how to make their feet work sometimes? Because I'm sure sometimes it's hard to walk. Or do they have a bunch of small scars because they hit their elbows or their hands on furniture and hurt themselves in that way, like by accident? And so you gotta think about that with a character. With, how much do you want to also, sometimes you can be sneaky with these kind of characters with, I'm going to visually show like this character has a lot of these very big scars that seem like they came from dangerous situations, and then have them in a way like stand in certain ways or act in certain ways that make them seem like they're very confident. But in reality, when you get to know the character more, you realize that a lot of it's up front or something, and that a lot of the scars they have is from silly little things like falling downstairs and landing on a knife that was at the bottom of the stairs for whatever reason. Like, it's because you can't work like that, because it doesn't have to be like these certain traits don't have to always relate to certain things. You can take them and be mischievous, because that's what plot twists are kind of about. It's not about leading a character or like creating a story and being like, oh, but here's this out of the left field, you never saw this coming, because you never hinted towards it. But maybe you could hint to certain things, because plot twists are supposed to be amazed and cool, like the Glass Onion. I love the Knives Out series. They're a very good series. Detective Blanc is a very great character, and they're very good mystery stories because it keeps you guessing for a lot of the story, and they don't give a lot away, but at the same time they give everything away. The movies are very brilliant for planting certain kind of designs and stories and retellings in ways that make you like kind of guess, try to figure out certain things. But then at the end of the day, you find out, oh, here's the true thing. And when you rewatch that movie, you see really, really cool stuff. Like all the leads up to these kind of things. You see all the foreshadowing, like it's clear as day right after you watch like the final movie, because they had been hinting towards it. Even though the plot twist seemed to come out of nowhere, it still held that kind of a position where it didn't seem to come out of nowhere. It still seemed like it came from somewhere, because of those kind of seated in moments and scenes that you just didn't think twice about, which is really cool, and I like. So I also like movies. Movies are great. Movies are very good. I like to cinematography and stuff like that. I like looking at movies, watching plots. Again, Pinocchio's a very good movie. I suggest go watching it. I'm not going to spoil it or anything, because that's mean. I don't want to spoil a good movie. I don't want to discourage anyone from watching Pinocchio, because great music, great story, heavy subjects here and there, but at the same time, very beautifully done. And also it's stop motion. And as I've said, I am a big animation nerd. I love animation. And stop motion has to be like one of the best animations out there. They have such a unique quality to them that make them, like, it's very difficult to copy that kind of technique, and it's a beautiful look for certain stories that you can come across. And I hope to see, like, in the animation industry, I'm very hopeful in a lot of the new animation styles coming out recently, because for the past decade or so, we've kind of hit a bit of a stalemate when it came to animation, because when you looked at animation movies, you'd notice a very clear kind of divide, or you know immediately what studio it'd be from. Like, oh, it's a Disney movie because of how it looks, or it's DreamWorks because I know these characters, or again, how it looks. And you can always tell because that's just how the studio made these characters, or like this is just how they create characters. Illuminations has a very distinct style again as well. But recently, after Spider-Man and the Spider-Verse, I noticed especially, people have been experimenting more, and I'm really excited to see more of that, because Spider-Man and the Spider-Verse, or Into the Spider-Verse, one of the best movies out there. Visually stunning, like, it's beautiful, great story, it's engaging, it's beautiful. The people who worked on it, like, they had a specific goal in mind when it came to, like, how they wanted this movie to look, which was inherently, it was about how you, like, could pause the movie and it would look like a comic book. And I feel like they did achieve that, where if you were to pause the movie, you looked like you were looking at a comic book. They had that beautiful style. There was even some deeper animation nerd stuff in there, where they said they animated Miles on a certain frame rate that was slower than the rest of the cast, because they were saying he was learning, he was developing. And at the end of the movie, he was at the same kind of frame rate as everyone else, as like an animation kind of thing. So he was 12 frames per rate, which is a little bit slower, versus a 24 frames per rate, which was cool. I thought it was really cool. I thought it was like really, really cool. So I'm excited for the new movie. I can't wait for the Across the Spider-Verse. Like, I also love Spider-Man. Spider-Man has been my favorite superhero for years. Part of it is because of my dad. He loves Spider-Man. He kind of imposed it on me. But at the same time, Spider-Man's a great movie. I grew up with the Tobey Maguire Spider-Man. The Thwip Shazam. He was the classic nerd, the one who got bullied too endlessly and had done a lot of his own stunts. He stole some guy's pizza. Like, how dare he? How could he steal some guy's pizza? Everyone saw it. But it was the classics. I really much did like it. It was what I grew up with. I think the original, well, it's not my favorite because of Spider-Verse. Spider-Verse is top tier, but it has to be a close second just because of the nostalgic value of it. I did like Andrew Garfield's movies with Spider-Man. I just kind of wish maybe they based him in college versus versus high school, just because age, I guess, and Hollywood loves to put 30-year-old men in high school for some reason. Like, oh, you can just fix this. If you want them in school, just put them in college. Just have that kind of problem. It's a great problem for Spider-Man to overcome. But it's Hollywood. Hollywood's a mess. I don't trust Hollywood. I don't trust Disney much anymore. You kind of look at big companies and you're like, I don't trust what you're creating. Like, what you're doing. I don't think you know much. Henry Cavill, great actor, loved The Witcher. So sad that The Witcher's ending after season 3, you know? Like, such a great series. Like, man, it's not like At least they're ending it instead of replacing the main character with a completely different character, because the main actor was such a huge fan of The Witcher that he wanted to make sure that it stayed true to the books despite everyone on set trying to make it terrible by making sure it wasn't based on anything and priding themselves on it. But so great to hear that Henry Cavill is now going to be working on Warhammer, one of his favorite games, or it's the favorite game that he has, which is really fun. So good for him. He, just shame. I like The Witcher a lot. I love Dandelion or Jesker. I'm terrible with names. I just don't do names very well. It's nothing against anybody, I just suck at words. But yeah, a shame. We're gonna sorely miss The Witcher. Kind of like I watched the Halo movie or the Halo series. That was kind of sad. The only good part, in my opinion, of the Halo series was the first, the first scene that the Spartans show up. Because I think I remember that the first 10 minutes of the show was actually not about the Spartans or anything. It was like a beginning thing. And so the first scene was wonderful because it had the Spartans fallen from the drop ship, landing on the ground. They have the classic weapons. They have you can see through their helmets at moments, the classic kind of first-person point of view. And then they had the swords, the aliens that were all just familiar. You had the beeping of when your shields were down, and that was like absolutely nostalgia. 10 out of 10. And then after that, you never saw anything like that again. And it made me sad. I was just like, you started off, and then you just lost it. You lost me. They keep Master Chief's helmet off for like 99% of the show. There was legitimately a scene where he took off, or like he had his helmet off, he put it on like he was about to head out. The next scene, he took it off again. Like barely a second with him in his helmet. It was just like, Master Chief, leave the helmet on. I was just like, I was trying to give the show a chance, but you lost your chance. There's no more chance for you anymore. Just lost it. So sad. I think my favorite Halo game had to be Halo 2. Because it took a lot of the original game, and then it added the fact that you could play as an alien. And I do like playing as otherworldly like creature or characters. Like if a game says, "Hey, you can play as an alien." New favorite game. You can play as a creature of the night. Yes, please. I like Skyrim. I mainly play as Argonians and Khajiit. I think it's very fun to design them in the character creation. Very fun. Very good. 10 out of 10. I think they're re-releasing it on a new system again. We're re-releasing Skyrim again. I still know that people love Oblivion because of its story. Unfortunately, Skyrim was my first Elder Scrolls game, which makes it kind of hard to go backwards from there. Like, I understand if the story is really good, but graphics, as an artist, sometimes really matter to me. Oh, is that the last frame? It was. Let's play this sucker. Oh. Let me just... There we go. There we go. Meow. Meow. The shading. I actually did it. Okay, now, we're gonna do... Oh, this is gonna be difficult, because there's orange and there's... it shouldn't be that difficult. Let's look at what I have for this one. Do you like the sound of my voice? Leaves. Nah, your voice is. I don't know why I'm still here. Okay, screen's 100%. Maybe I should stop talking. Do I still have the music going on? Let me just check this. I have it like on my phone or something just to check audio sometimes. I don't have the music. Oh, it's paused. That's why. People coming on looking for music. There you go, let's turn it up a bit. Here, we'll do some music in silence. If you want me to keep talking, just, I don't know, leave a comment. But yeah, if you have any questions or anything, just, ask them. Like in the chat. I got the little chat thing. I don't do streams a lot.
Listen, little moments, it was easy just feeling alive. 2 a.m. wide awake, talking like we had the whole night. And I don't know if I said this right. No, I don't know how the days gone by. Missing little moments, it was easy just feeling alive. Every now and again Searching for the moments I'm a little less 25. A little less 25. A little less, little less. Searching for the moments I'm a little less 20. A little less 25. You were always so good at being an actor, making it last just long enough. Playing a game you always won. You never even taught me the rules. You tried to break me down, put this all on me. Tried to make me out to be crazy, and I played along 'cause I didn't wanna lose you. But I think this dream was rotten at its core. Tried to fix these things, patch it up like before, but I was the fool. Went down with a sinking
What's up, bro?
I see the constellations. They remind me that this life cannot be lost forever. I watch my generation. It's so evident this world will soon be gone. Will soon be gone. Can we leave for tonight? Run away. Let's run away, run away. Can we get out of sight? Fly away. Let's run away, run I see the constellations. They remind me that this life cannot be lost forever. I watch my generation. It's so evident this world will soon be gone. Will soon be gone. Can we leave for tonight? Run away. Let's run away, run away. Can we just wish he knew. I just wish he knew.
When I seems lost, thoughts lead you astray. Then I cry, then I feel pain. Why do I suffer so much? I would love to feel your touch. Baby, I don't know where to go. I feel so lost without you. Baby, I don't know where to go. I feel so lost without you.
I've been trying to fight the demons in my mind. I'll prevail with every battle if I'm right. Guess my aim was off, the target's out of sight. Would I be better if I left it all behind? 'Cause we could find a way, we could find a way. Find another place where we can just escape. We could find a way, we could find a way. Find another place where we can just escape. We could find a way.
dawned on me that you ain't coming back. I've lost my chance to see us find our way back. And in the end, amidst these trying times, I'll always try to find you. I'll lie to you to find the truth that you hold back. So stay with me. You know that I'll follow. I can't breathe. Together we'll fall apart. Stay here right in my arms, and we'll start again. So stay with me. Together we'll fall apart. Together we'll fall apart. Together we'll fall apart. We'll fall apart, I know that we're a mess. And I know that you're trying your best. And you're calling me to over dramatically talk to me. And it's so funny, you're all I wanted. And I can't talk, want you out of my life. So say none, I'll wait for days if you ain't one. I'll just say none. So stay with me. You know that I'll follow. I can't breathe. Together we'll fall apart. Stay here right in my arms, and we'll start again. So stay with me. Together we'll fall apart. Together we'll fall apart. Together we'll fall apart. Stay here right in my arms, and we'll start again. So stay with me. Together we'll fall apart.
Something about you feels so different. Yeah, you mess me up inside. It's like your energy was kissing my soul back to life, was living. Now it feels like every part of me is died. Yeah, you're gone without a trace. You left me where no one can find me. There's no sign of life out here. I scream and it goes silent. I fight so hard, but I can't fight my way out. Lost all dimension and time. Looking your voice in my mind, and this goes down. And this goes down. Every message that I send you, you just leave them all unread. Now every part of me is hurting. Cross my heart, I don't deserve this. Loved you just for you to haunt me in the end. Yeah, you're gone without a trace. You left me where no one can find me. There's no sign of life out here. I scream and it goes silent. ghost town.
What more can I? What more can I? What more can I say? Hey, yo, what more can I? What more can I? What more can I say? This be my coronation. Hustle, no hesitation. You know it's understated when they calling me the great. Yeah, listen. What more can I? What more can I say? Hey, yo.
Artificial love, we just make it up. Cause reality will never be good enough. And even if it was, we just mess it up. Cause we already lost, addicted to the rush. I never meant to fall. All I wanted was a touch of artificial love. We just make it up. Cause reality will never be good enough. And even if it was, we just mess it up. Artificial love. Artificial love. Artificial love. We just make it up. Cause reality will never be good enough. And even if it was, we just mess it up. Cause we already lost, addicted to the rush. I never meant to fall. All I wanted was a touch. Cause we already lost, addicted to the rush. I never meant to fall. All I wanted was a touch. Artificial love. Artificial love. Artificial love. We just make it up. Cause reality will never be good enough. And even if it was, we just mess it up. How can you know what's in our mind? When in between the good and bad, there's such a thin line. How can you know what's in our heart? When often hate motivates and love tears you apart. Artificial love. Artificial love. Artificial love. We just make it up. Cause reality will never be good enough. And even if it was, we just mess it up. Artificial love. Artificial love. Artificial love. Artificial love.
It got me thinking now, should I take it or leave it out? It got me thinking now, and now I'm stuck in this loop again. It got me thinking now, should I take it or leave it out? What would happen if I talk to you? I don't know why you left me bleeding, with a broken heart. Tell me if I deserve this feeling. I thought that you know that we had something special till you end up all this way. Please tell me why you left me bleeding, with a broken heart. Tell me why I deserve this feeling. I thought that you loved me, I thought that you need me till you end up all this way. Have you forgot all the moments while we had was so true? This world was made for two. I did it Feelings change and love can go, but tell me why are you so cold? What did I wrong? What was the fault? And what you say is I don't know. Feelings change and love can go, but tell me why are you so cold? What did I wrong? What was the fault? I thought that you loved me, I thought that you need me till you end up all this way. Have you forgot all the moments while we had was so true? This world was made for two. words, they hurt me. You'd found out what made me angry, then use it to your ability. Now you're trying to avoid me. You're the big problem here, a bully to many for so many years. Now shut your mouth, close your ears. Never learned your lesson and nobody cares. That's what you're here for, here to make me miserable. I know you get joy out of it. You hurt me but call me the same names again. You know I never let them, and that's so unforgivable. I know you ruined my childhood. You hurt me and do it all over again.
Every little thing you do, it gets me thinking. By another shot, you got me drinking. Girl, you shut me down and there's no witness. Got me in my feels, she would never listen. All the alcohol is in my liver. I guess I lost and you're the winner. Missing your touch, you were a good kisser. I was born a saint, but now I'm a sinner. Falling for you, for you, for you. Falling for you, for you. For you, falling for you, for you, for you, falling for you, for you. All the times with you, they just fly by. All the memories pop up on my timeline. Change your colors on me like you're tie-dye. Got me falling for you, I ain't talking skydive. See you in another dimension. Can't sleep on my night's rest. Baby girl, you were my best friend, best friend. Every little thing you do, it gets me thinking. By another shot, you got me drinking. Girl, you shut me down and there's no witness. Got me in my feels, she would never listen. All the alcohol is in my liver. I guess I lost and you're the winner. Missing your touch, you were a good kisser. I was born to sing, but now I'm a sinner. Falling for you, for you, for you. Falling for you, for you, for you. Falling for you, for you, for you. Falling for you, for you, for you.
like ooh, yeah, yeah. When I press play, all I hear is you. And it goes like ooh, yeah, yeah. When I press play, all I hear is you. Oh, every single song tells me we're through. Yeah, but I can't turn it off 'cause it's the truth. Yeah, it's the truth. And it goes like all you left me was the radio. And it goes like ooh, yeah, yeah. And it goes like ooh, yeah, yeah. When I press play, all I hear is you. And it goes like ooh, yeah, yeah. When I press play, all I hear is you. Oh, every single song tells me we're through. Yeah, but I can't turn it off 'cause it's the truth. Yeah, it's the truth. And it goes like and it goes like ooh, yeah, yeah. When I press play, all I hear is you. Oh, every single song tells me we're through. Yeah, but I can't turn it off 'cause it's the truth. And it goes like ooh, yeah, yeah. Play, all I hear is you. Oh, press play, all I hear is you. Oh, every single song tells me we're through. Yeah, but I can't turn it off 'cause it's the truth. Yeah, it's the truth. And it goes like
Flashing lights dance with fire in the night. I'm wired. Watch the time pass us by. Here's this feeling lying. Could you pass the lighter? Yeah, I'm trying to keep my cool. Nicotine in my veins, flaming up desires. What am I supposed to do? 'Cause it feels so good. Feeling wild like a zoo. Put me in a mood. Put me in a mood. Maybe I should've known that it ain't real. How'd you know how to get into my feelings? You're a trip.